Nobody thinks about seeds until the shelves go quiet. Systems don't collapse loudly, they fade. One delay, one shortage, one season that doesn't recover. When that happens, money doesn't feed you, gold doesn't feed you, silver doesn't feed you, technology doesn't feed you, only growth does. Seeds don't ask permission. They don't care who's in charge. That's why they matter. Control always starts with food, and food always starts with seeds. A seed vault isn't optimism. Nice. It's an admission that history repeats and comfort is temporary. When everything else fails, the future belongs to the ones who planned in silence with seeds. Welcome to the Oddcast podcast.
Off the record.
I'm Blackie.
I'm Erica.
Thank you so much again for being here, everybody. We greatly appreciate it. Been a beautiful Sunday here, a little on the chilly side, but hey, What can you say, right?
I think most people can say that.
I'll take the vitamin D any day. You know, there's no snow. A lot of the snow melted today at what? I think outside it got up to 20 degrees, if that. Yeah.
Still so cold.
If you're new to the channel, please like, subscribe, and comment. It helps us get into the algorithm, and more people can catch the show and join in. And we love having the conversation and chat. So feel free to chat away and ask questions if you want to. So today we're going to talk about different things. Go ahead and you can describe what you want to discuss.
We're going to talk about, this is episode 30, seed storage and the future. And we will discuss the importance of seeds. So I'm talking about flowers and vegetables, herbs. And we'll talk about the importance of that. And I'm still fairly new to gardening, but I'm pretty passionate about it. So I will share the information that I know, that I've learned along the way. And hopefully that will help everyone. I won't be talking about gardening. I'll just be talking about seeds and the storage of seeds and helping in preparation of gardening. And in the beginning, we're going to start with about a 5-minute video. And this is covering the global effort of seed saving.
You know, once everything goes down, anything big happens, say a power outage for a long period of time, war, famine, the only thing that we have that we can keep life going after food runs out are seeds. And it's really important to stockpile your own, and that's what she'll talk about. But first, we want to talk a little bit about we've got a little 5-minute movie we wanted to play for y'all, kind of give you an idea how important this is in the world. And if you want to fire that movie up, let's get it going.
All right.
This is a special place. Let's go deeper inside. We have prepared this seed vault for about 4.5 million seed samples. Welcome to the Global Seed Vault. This is a facility where we store copies of seeds from gene banks all over the world. So now we are entering a long tunnel which leads into the Global Seed Vault.
Deep inside the permafrost mountain, close to the North Pole, is a storage facility with the capacity to store over 4 million different crops and a maximum of 2.5 billion seeds. The Global Seed Vault was created as a backup system for the world's gene banks to protect humanity against any catastrophes that could potentially wipe out our agricultural diversity.
We are now quite deep in the mountain. When we pass this door, we are in the permafrost part of the rocks here. Now we are moving from approximately 0 degrees into the permafrost section. We have the permafrost here, -5. In there, it's -18. And here you can feel the atmosphere. It's silent, You can hear the echo. It's a very nice place to grasp the atmosphere of being in an important place. Some journalists call this the Noah's Ark of plant diversity, and personally I think that's quite a good name. We call it the world's most important room. So let's go in. If the humanity can survive, we will need new plant varieties. And the material you need for developing new varieties are genetic diversity. We have seeds from all countries in the world. Kenya, Mexico, India, Peru, Germany, Colombia, Costa Rica, Zambia, Brazil, Australia. Here we have some nice wooden boxes from Tajikistan. Workers in gene banks, farmers have struggled to produce all these seeds and sent them here because they feel safe when they send the seeds here. Svalbard is a safe place. It's the permafrost here, so it's frozen even if the artificial cooling fails. And Svalbard is quite far away from conflicts. Here we have boxes from Russia, and here we have boxes from Ukraine. And even if they are enemies abroad, outside, in this seed vault, they cooperate. And here is some wooden boxes made in North Korea. So even North Korea have sent seeds here, and in the seed vault here, international conflicts are cooled down. You see this empty space in this shelf. We had seed boxes from Ikardas gene bank in Aleppo. They sent seeds here from 2008, and when the gene bank in Aleppo was ruined, we were able to send the seeds back so they can start creating a new gene bank. This system saved the seeds. If they had no backup here, the seeds would have gone extinct. This is the world's largest collection of genetic diversity of crops. What you see in here is 13,000 years of agricultural history. The genes you find in here existed in the natural flora in the Middle East 10,000, 15,000 years ago. And then farmers started to use these plants, and they improved the plants into the crops that we have today. There is in the seed vault about 70,000 different varieties of barley, and 150,000 samples of rice, and 140,000 samples of wheat. Researchers, they investigate what are the properties we find in these old varieties, and they use the genes for making new varieties, for new purposes, for new growing conditions. Without this material, plant breeders, agriculture will never manage to feed the growing population. This is the raw material that we need for the future, that breeders need to make new varieties, to increase the world's food production. The work gene banks do every day, conserving their seeds, preparing the genes for future food supplies, is a very, very crucial and important work. I have a quite good feeling when I'm in here and know that this is a resource that the future will need. Seed goes extinct every day. And personally, it's a big motivation to think about all the work that has been done to bring the seeds here. And it feels very good to be a part of this global effort for future food supplies and conserve them in a safe place.
Good.
All right. So I'm sure probably most of you have heard of that location, and it's very interesting. The efforts, over, about 20 years, and the collection. And it's very admirable that they want to save these seeds. And there has been a situation where a location was basically in ruins, and they were able to recollect the seeds that they had donated. So it's already shown effective. But let us know in chat if anybody had ever heard of that location before.
Svalbard. It's in Norway. It's close to the Arctic Circle. That way, temperature is controlled. Nobody really has to use any air conditioning. It's I forget how many 400 feet, I think, into the side of a mountain. So the temperature really never changes. And we've watched other videos of Svalbard and people going in there and just how cold it is in there. It's obviously, what they say, minus whatever. It's 0 degrees Fahrenheit, is what I can tell you. So minus 32 or whatever that is.
I think it was minus 17.
Yeah, I don't know Celsius. I'm an American and we don't have, sorry to my Canadian friends, but we don't have Celsius down here. Anyway.
One of the videos we watched did say that there was a leak and none of the seeds in the building were damaged, but to repair that leak was, I believe, about $11 million.
Yeah, that's what that was.
And so anyhow, it's shown effective so far.
And, you know, you think about it, it just how important that is, because if mankind ever wipes themselves out and there are few survivors, you know, we've got to start all over again. And plants, they're the life, you know, they're the life to everything, you know, as far as food. And we have to have that. So you've heard what, 11,000 types of rice or something like that?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
We only have 2 on our shelf, brown and white. I didn't know there was that many, but okay.
Stop it. All right. Okay. So hope everybody's having a good night. We haven't gotten to say hi to everybody. I see Misty's in here. Been wondering about you and your location. I know y'all have definitely gotten some snow and more snow. So hope everybody's safe out there. Okay. So seeds I love. I'm, like I said, I'm new to gardening still. I'll be on, I believe, my 3rd year. And it's one of those things where I've watched as much, you know, as I can, as time would allow. I've watched a lot of videos, and I still, you know, being a brain injury survivor, my trick is that it takes repetition. So I don't have a lot of things memorized on certain things. So once I've repeatedly practiced something, then, you know, it becomes second nature to me. So let's see.
She knows way more about these things than I do. She's actually going for a
Master gardener.
Yeah, master gardener, which
Yeah.
I thought was pretty cool. I have a joke that goes with that, but we're keeping it clean. It has to do with me being a fisherman, so we won't go there. But I thought it was really neat that she wanted to do something like that. You know, we're big into the prepping world. Since that's one reason we moved to Tennessee, especially rural Tennessee, is because we kind of wanted to get out away from everything and start growing our own food and taking care of ourselves. You know, maybe within a community, but you guys have watched, most of you have watched past shows, you know what we're about. So she wanted to do a show on seeds, and I thought it was a great idea, because this is something that's part of the prepping world for sure.
Yeah. And also why I picked that topic for this weekend, really, this in general, this time of the year, is because yes, there is winter gardening, but you know, the big summer that's coming up that we need to prepare for to get things planted in the ground. Well, there's a lot more that goes into it than just direct sowing into your garden. Okay. So, like I said, it won't be a gardening topic, but in order to prepare is why I'm doing seeds tonight. So, because some seeds require refrigeration so that they will germinate. So refrigeration first, some require freezing. And then I would move on to what goes indoor. You know, what are you sowing indoors with your heat lamp? And then, you know, direct sow. So whatever you decide to research or whatever you're used to gardening, you may know the timeline, but time really is of the essence, which is why I thought it would be a good time to just talk about that first part, the seeds and how we treat them so that they can grow and be healthy in the future.
Make good num-nums.
Yes. So I love what I've seen from gardening and what I've experienced. There have definitely been failures, but it just absolutely amazes me to see how something can grow from just something so tiny and into a beautiful plant, or a nutritious plant, whatever it is that you're growing. It amazes me. And that's the closest I've ever been to nature and experiencing that myself.
Well, I
So-
will say this is that I never thought in a million years growing up that I would ever eat things out of my yard. From the dandelions, every bit of from the stem, the root, the flower, to what are the flowers on the side of the house that we eat?
marigolds.
Marigolds.
Which I have.
It's everything. Everything was given to us by God for a reason, and that's what we are kind of in the journey of finding out about and using for our benefit.
Yeah.
We've done a lot of episodes on big pharma and stuff like that, and our goal is to try to get away from that.
Mhm.
Some cases maybe you can't, but to do what we can living off the earth. And so seeds are the way to go.
Yeah, what Carmen said in the natural remedies, it is amazing. And we've learned so much over the last 1 to 2 years about natural remedies, and I'm all about it. Anything to keep us from really a written prescription. It's just how I feel.
Yeah.
But I love the chat so far, guys. Keep it coming. Whatever your tips and tricks are, whatever you want to talk about, books. I saw books recommended all about that. Actually, this evening, there is a class. Let's see. It's the beginning of the website is called Seed Time, and they are offering a free series of classes on gardening. So I do follow a lot of websites like that offer the free classes. But theirs starts, so our show is at 5 Central, and their class tonight starts at 7 Central. So I don't know what time zone you're in.
So let me just jump in here with this real quick. She loves, gardening shows, cooking shows. She loves them so much that my YouTube channel is where I get my content for, conspiracy theories and whatever else I follow news-wise, is now constantly full of gardening, cooking, and things that I would never really have on my my YouTube channel.
Yeah.
We have since
Sorry.
gotten her one as of yesterday, so she can do her own and stay off my stuff. But anyway, every once in a while I'll look at things. I'll watch a show and get so bored with politics that I'll flip it over and watch one of the gardening shows. And it's really, really interesting stuff. And I've vowed to help her with the gardens and helping her plant and just upkeep on everything. We've had a few little gardens.
Watering.
Yeah. We've had a few little gardens the past 2 years we've been here, but this year we're going to get a bigger garden and grow a lot more stuff and really focus on it.
And that to me is what this theme tonight, there's kind of like a reusing theme to it. So when you grow your plants and they live their full cycle and come to seed, and then you're able to save those seeds, it's a way of reusing, if you want to say, or being able to hold on to what that has produced, and it gives you more for the future. I love that. That's awesome. And you were just saying something that made me think of that. I don't
couldn't
know.
tell you what I said.
I don't know. But saving and being able to grow more. I just think that's so awesome, and that it lives kind of a further life, if you want to say. It keeps giving if you want to say.
And also remember that seed storage is pretty beneficial, not just for keeping for your stock, but seed storage is also beneficial that if you ever have to barter, money's not going to be worth anything, but seeds will. Seeds will be worth seeds and little things, but seeds create plants, plants create food, and that's how important seeds are. And that's why you really, really need to think about, even if you don't have room for a garden, stock seeds, because in the long run, it's going to be better than money if and when.
Yeah. And we'll talk more about that.
Yeah.
But to get started, I brought some seed packets just to show. I know probably everybody on here is familiar, but in case anybody ever watches in the future and they're not, and to give you a little insight of how I treat it, because, you know, we all can do it our own way. But what I've done, so buying seeds, the seed packets, normally you'll find them in the big box stores. You may find them in greenhouses, so a local nursery, local greenhouse, obviously online. I've bought many online, and I know that you're pretty limited in store what brands there are. And so it might be limited on certain brands are known for carrying special varieties. So it can be limiting. And it also depends on where you live, you know, what stores offer. But some I have seen since we've moved to a rural area, there are places you may not imagine. You know, I had never seen seeds before in a hardware store, but in a town around here, there's a hardware store kind of in the middle of almost nowhere, in between towns, and they sell like PVC and other plumbing. It's mostly like geared toward that type of hardware, but they have a great seed collection that they sell, and they're well-known, you know, brand names. So produce stands, you know, you really can find them in places that you may not think to look, or may not have seen them at locations like that before. But online, do you have a question?
No, I don't have a question.
Oh, okay.
I'll just
He looked
interrupt.
at me like,
I'll just interrupt.
okay. So there are a lot of popular names. What's super helpful is if you can get a catalog, because it is actually mind-blowing how many varieties there are out there of different types of vegetables, like tomatoes. I love, love, love tomatoes. And you cannot imagine, if you don't know, how many varieties of tomatoes there are out there, or peppers. It is just mind-blowing to me. Have to be careful in New York City.
Are you talking about the type of seeds or growing
Yeah.
in general?
Or being limited to your area of growing. I know when we lived in Ohio, that was my first year of playing around with gardening, and it wasn't serious. Like, we were actively looking to move, so it wasn't anything, you know. So I didn't plant, well, I couldn't plant anything in the ground. We were living in a condo, but
We didn't want to get fined.
but it's, the thing to me is like, it's like a science experiment, you know, and you want a good outcome, but you also have a lot to learn. So there may be, you know, things that you didn't plan for. But anyhow, it was container gardening, and I know what it's like. They have like the square foot gardening. They have all kinds of resources out there on if you are limited on space. So I know what you mean. You know, every situation is different. But online, it really helps. You know, some places will send you like a free catalog, and that really helps to kind of map out what you may want to grow. But some of the more popular brands, Baker Creek, botanical interests, which they have amazing packets that are so descriptive and have a beautiful drawing. I just, Burpee, Eden Brothers, Gurney's, Harris Seeds, Park, Pine Tree. I think that's a good collection. Rare Seeds, Seed Savers Exchange, which was actually who I started out with, Southern Exposure, they're out of Virginia, and then Urban Farmer. Urban Farmer, I think, might be more helpful to you, Denise. I believe that's the one that's located out of Indiana, maybe Indianapolis. But he was very limited on growing and has become very, very, very successful on that. But, you know, the seed packets, they're all different. Okay, so this is sunflower, and I bought, I believe, on Amazon. And just to show you some of the differences, you know, they have the normal descriptions and everything, description of the plant, directions, when and how to plant it, the timeline that you're looking at. But this one, if you can see, it's like a Ziploc bag on the inside.
Almost like a Mylar bag.
Yeah. So just showing you, different companies are different, and that may help some of you that it's already packaged this way. That's why I wanted to show you. This is Sweet Yards Seed Company. I believe I bought that off of Amazon. And then the others, Fairy Morse, this is just a flax that I just bought. You'll see notes up top. For me, I write down on here, in March, I'll be direct sowing this, and it needs full sun. I make my own notes on here. Like, I can read this 6 times and I don't need to. You know, I'll read it whenever I buy it. I'll read it whenever I'm planning how I'm going to plant my garden. But to save me time, I'll make my own type of notes on here so I know when, and I'll organize it or categorize it in a timeline so that I don't have to reread these things. You know, that kind of saves on time for me.
And Jean, yes, absolutely. If you don't have your own garden, don't pass up farmers market and local farms.
Oh, yes.
We have our own garden, but we still support local.
Yeah.
That's where you find out who's growing what. And we have
Mhm.
actually got a little produce stand here in town. But you want to be friends with the people that are growing the good stuff. And I don't, you know, it works the same way with you know, your meat as well. And that's what we've done here in a small town. You know, we try not to buy anything from a grocery store unless we absolutely have to, because we don't know what's in it. And, you know, that's another thing she'll probably mention with seeds is know who your growers are or who your seed companies are, and then make sure they're not owned by Bill Gates. Just saying.
Well, we try to do the best we can with our due diligence. So, another one right here, I just bought. This is American Seed Company. This was another like Walmart purchase. I circled shade because this is going to go into a shady area. I'm all about anything that will encourage pollinators. So that's what this is. And to add a little color, which go hand in hand. But, sorry, I meant to go back to Jean. Sometimes, depending on what you're buying, you know, what you consume, it is more cost effective to do it that way. You know, and especially being limited in space of what you're gardening,
All farmers markets
don't, you know, you might not have the space to dedicate to a specific whatever it is. But it's more cost effective for you to buy it from the store. That's just the way, in my opinion, that it works sometimes.
And again, support local.
Another one I have, this will be the last packet that I show you. I think it's so cool. And well, I think it's from Italy.
Hey, it must be a good tomato.
Anyway, I
Or
told you I love tomatoes. This is Pomodoro. And this in here, it says hermetically sealed. I actually bought this in New Orleans but it's got a different way, their description, and it's just very neat. I've been on the lookout for Pomodoro tomatoes because I personally want to do so much with Pomodoro tomatoes. Because of all the recipes that I've read about them. That's going to be one of my favorite varieties. And anyhow, another thing, okay. Another way that you can get seeds, if you haven't ever checked it out, Facebook would offer, and there are other, like I saw today, there was a greenhouse that was offering it. It's seed exchange. And some people are basically bartering with seeds. Hey, I've got too many of this. I'm looking for such and such. And it's so cool because I have done it successfully before. And it's just very neat. It's very helpful. And I love that community aspect of it where people are helping each other out. Sometimes we don't need this number of seeds that come in the packet. We are just, one seed can create such a big plant. We're not going to need all of those seeds.
If you have the ability to share to get seeds that you're going to use, but don't forget we're stockpiling seeds as well.
So, check it out if you do garden, or if you're kind of just wanting a few. See if there are any seed exchange groups in your area. I just searched for it on Facebook, and in my area or my town or my county, or my area of Tennessee, or just Google or search for seed exchange. Seed swap might be another way to look at it. And I have seen that too, Jean, out of, again, to me, an unexpected place is the local library. And I have seen that in the last year or so. Great info.
I don't know where you live, but you find out a lot when you live in a small town about all the people that are, again, seeds, beef, all of that, and how you can meet a whole new group of people that are wanting to do this, that want to create a society of, in this area of seeds and natural things that grow around here. And you can learn so much. Like I said, she's taking a gardening class, master gardener class, and that kind of stuff is readily available for her to do. So I don't know how it works in the big cities. I would imagine there might be some people that try to do it in the big cities, but obviously there's no room to garden unless you're going to garden in your house. And you have that ability as well, for sure. In fact, a lot of our stuff that she grows starts off in the house and then makes its way outdoors.
Yeah, just depending on what it is. And, when you're sowing the seeds, depending on what it is, read whatever your directions are. Because sometimes, you'll just surface sow onto the soil, or sometimes they'll say to sow it, like surface sow it with sand. They all can be so different. It's just very important, to put forth your efforts the right way, because it is so rewarding when it works out. It's awesome. But you'll want to, gathering your seeds, you'll want to look out for like the heirloom seeds. The hybrid seeds probably they're usually not successful in saving the seeds. They won't regrow. Is usually how that goes with hybrid seeds. And then GMO seeds, you wouldn't want to save those because
there you go.
Well, actually, there are laws against them, but also because why would you grow a genetically modified organism seed?
Absolutely.
So why would you want to encourage that growth, I should say?
Yeah. You shouldn't, but there are people that will grow anything and do anything with their seeds. So
But
And yeah, Jean Wright, she buys those too. The Mother Earth
Mhm.
News
I like
magazines.
those.
Absolutely.
Those are really helpful. And a lot of the I don't have a certain company I'm endorsing or anything for, the names of the seed companies I read off. It was just some of the most popular ones, or maybe some that I had purchased from. But a lot of these companies have an email newsletter, obviously a Facebook page or whatever social media you want to be on. But a lot have, a weekly or more frequently newsletter. And a lot of those can be so helpful. And then the Farmer's Almanac. So this is the last year of the printed
Yep.
almanac. So as far as I know, they will still have digital content, but they won't have their printed almanac anymore. But
Which is a shame, but
yeah, I'm a printed person. I am a catalog person. Have it in my hands and read it. I don't know if I think it's more probably related to my brain injury. I don't know. I can read it online, but I've had so many years of having to take notes. It's much easier for me to physically write on it or physically have it and see it in my hands.
well, we're going to find out someday that the paper stuff that we stock, that we keep, the paper editions of magazines, of farmers magazines, all these are going to be so important, because if the grid goes down, if there is no internet, you won't have Google and you won't have all these things you can look up online. So paper will be the best, having, instructions on how to cook food, or, growing, all of that stuff we need to know. And if the paper is not there, then I know, just a small example is my dad and I had a tool company, and we for years did everything with paper prints. And then eventually we had to start shipping discs with our dies, so that they had, what went in that die and what measurements of everything were, or whatever. But I talked my dad into keeping all of the paper prints so that they were always on file in case somebody lost something or something got destroyed. We have, since the business has been closed for quite a few years now. Thank you, China. But, that just is one example of why paper magazines, all that is important. Farmer's Almanac to me is super important. Yeah, it's got a lot of silly information in there, and what the temperature is going to be like next year, and sometimes it's right, but that's kind of a guess. I mean, especially if you live in our area, it's a guess, because it's probably not going to be right. But farmers have relied on that magazine for years and years and years, and it does give a lot of good tips, and I think that's something that should still be paper. And it can also be, digital, but whatever. Please continue.
Okay. So, Murray's question, heirloom seeds, yes, are the most reliable. They have stood the test of time. I think typically what people can agree on is that it's 50 years or more. I think some companies might have variations of their definition, but 50 years or more. So they're strong seeds. They've proven to be what they are. They're not hybrid. And so the other thing about collecting your seeds is you want to collect the seeds of the healthiest plants, is what they say. And they also over time adapt to your area, its environment, its conditions. Your area is different than 50 miles down the road. It's just different. And the best seeds are what you need to, not that, what you grow and you save the seeds from couldn't survive somewhere else. It's just that they will be the best that they can be. Over time, they get stronger, and they get stronger to those conditions.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. But one of the things you need to watch out for on the seeds is expiration date. There actually is an expiration date on your seed packets. And not to say that they wouldn't grow after, it's just that the percentage that they will successfully grow significantly lowers. So it's not good forever. Could be, but time does matter a lot with seeds. And storing them, you want to store them in a cool and dry area. So going back to the video that we watched before, pretty much just think of it as the opposite of what you would want for growing conditions. So you would want it hot and, wet. You want the moisture for it to grow and the light. So those are the things that you don't have in that seed vault, to preserve it and to keep it for storage. Just keep it in a cool and dry spot.
Absolutely.
And I keep my seeds. I wanted to show you. Well, first off, let me show you this. This is hollyhock seed. And this is something that a customer gave me. These seeds are like little discs, but it's of the hollyhock flower. And that's another thing that also amazes me is how different they can look from the vegetable or the flower that they are. I don't know if you're going to be able to see this.
And just remember, your flowering plants are just as important as your fruit and vegetable bearing plants, because with the flowering plants, you're attracting bees and butterflies, which are pollinators. And we actually, what were the 4 bushes we bought this past year? The butterfly bushes? Is that what they're called?
Yeah.
Yeah. And well, I'll tell you what, that works. The butterflies were all over the place.
They flocked to the butterfly bushes, and they were still, obviously so young, but they did their job. They absolutely attracted the butterflies. But this, I just wanted to show you. I just have it in a Ziploc bag. And a customer gave me this. So I have what she gave me in the bag. I have the plant that it is labeled on there. What she told me for growing instructions, and when she gave me these. So that way I know how long I've had them. And poor Callie. Our cat sneezes.
So if you hear anything, it's our cat.
Now another one I have collected. Again, this is just in a Ziploc bag. I'm inconsistent on how I store these. This one is paper towel. The other is parchment paper. So whatever you prefer, Ziploc bag, glass jar, mason jar. There are so many ways. An envelope, a paper envelope, Mylar. There are so many options. So whatever works best for you. But I wanted to show you, because to me, this is such a good example of, let's see if you can see this. This is
marijuana.
Marigold seed.
Marigolds. I meant wrong word. My bad.
Marigold seed. There are so many from one plant. It's crazy. And that to me is another cool part about it is the reward, like the giving back. It's just amazing. But the marigold I grew for the first time last year, and they ended up being just so beautiful. I couldn't believe how strong they were. But the seeds that we collected from them, it's just astronomical, really. The return was unbelievable. But I wanted to show you. So these seeds, so many, the flower, this is like a little holder. It's like a housing. And I don't know. The petal would be here, and it was orange. But the seeds, this is what it looks like when you collect the seeds. This is the base of the flower, and here are the seeds. you just pull them out of that little housing. It has to be dry. They have to have gone through their cycle and they have to be dry. But these are all seeds from one collection or one flower, if you want to say.
Misty says, I'm going to have to send you some seeds. I have some that are really cool looking and taste great.
Oh, I love it.
They're great.
So last year when we were growing the marigold, it grew like crazy. It was very drought resistant, but we would use it for teas. And I mean, we would just eat the flower too, kind of like they say, put it on a salad. It seemed kind of odd to me at first, but it didn't take long at all before it was just like another daily thing. But anyhow, I just wanted to show you that the return is so much on that flower in particular. I just thought it was so cool and wanted to show you. But okay, do I have any questions right now?
Mostly just people sharing info.
Okay, cool. Keep it coming, guys. I love that.
Gary's saying he's kept seeds in a Ziploc
Mm-hmm.
for 10 years and they're still good.
Mm-hmm.
You can get mushroom spores to sprinkle around the edge of your gardens so you can grow mushrooms, which I think is a great idea. I just am one of those people that I would probably need somebody to eat the mushrooms before I do.
Yeah.
I'd be afraid I'd eat the wrong mushrooms.
I know Misty would be like my number one contact for foraging mushrooms. But yes, and marigolds do deter bugs. So it just amazed me how big and strong they grew. And they were
They were
beautiful.
bushes.
They were bushes.
They grew into bushes.
And just so strong. I just loved them. But let's see. Okay.
And if you have deer near, be careful to eat everything. That is very true. There's nights where I make Erica sleep outside to keep the deer away.
Stop.
It's been a little cold lately, so she's been inside. But you got to do what you got to do.
Okay.
But
yeah. Scroll.
Which one I'm scrolling to?
Yeah.
This one.
Yeah.
But yeah, we have, and one way we've learned is we do have deer come to our yard, but they don't really walk too far into our yard simply because, and this is a great, if you have any security cameras, you've got those lights that you can't see. I can't remember the name of the kind of lights, but anyway, infrared, but the deer can see them. So they see the lights and that helps keep deer away. When we first moved here, we had deer in our front yard, probably five or six of them. And I started worrying about having a garden. So I installed security cameras everywhere, mostly for the animals, but also for people. And we haven't had we had 2 deer this year. They came down one of the paths and stopped right at the edge and never came into our yard.
Yeah.
So, and unfortunately I've got neighbors close enough that if it came down to it, I couldn't, I'd have to be up close and personal from a window to shoot them. I don't have that much land if I wanted to, bag one. Yeah.
That's funny. Let's see. I'm looking it up right now. Just real quick, Brian. A lot of it is skin conditions.
Oh, the uses?
Yeah, and digestive health.
For marigolds?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I'm not saying that it doesn't help with arthritis, but just on first glance, a lot of it seems to be for skin.
We just every once in a while she'll come up to me in the yard and hand me a marigold. And she's like, "Here you go," and we'll wash them and eat them. She's put them in our salads, and the first one that got me was the dandelion. She's like, "Okay, we're gonna eat these." I'm like, "Okay."
Yeah, we've definitely had tea from dandelion in there.
Which means
yard. Also, though, be careful and know the background, know the history of what's in your yard. If there's anything that may be a problem, keep that in mind.
If you had people, like if you live in an area where people sprayed their lawns to make them look pretty, just know that you're not going to eat anything out of your yard. That would be too dangerous on yourself. We know what Roundup and stuff like that can do to the human body. And we researched this area. This has been nothing but woods. You know, there probably are. I know from previous shows, you know, that I say that chemicals are falling from the skies onto our food and everything. And we know that happens, but wash your food, wash your greens before you eat them. And that's the best you can do. It's still healthier than all the crap you're getting from the store.
What Jean said earlier, I have dandelion jelly now. I still haven't tried it, but I figured we would love it. Lilac jelly, I didn't know there was such a thing, which it's funny. Every time I say that now, I catch myself and I'm like, why wouldn't it be a thing? You know, it's like my brain is reprogramming me into the more natural, you know, it's like, why wouldn't that? You know, I'm not like so city girl anymore, if you want to say. And
JR gets
you know,
good grades too.
everybody's that's funny. Everybody's different. You know, I wasn't raised to garden. I wasn't raised to cook or anything like that. But these are things that
Then I reminded her she's a woman.
These are things that I independently have grown to love as an adult. You know, I see the importance of it and I have a very strong interest in it. So I love it that I can feel, you know, like I'm going back in time. It's a shame, but you know, going back in time to the more natural things. I love that that's not lost, you know, that it is growing more in popularity and, you know, just anything we can do back to the basics. I'm all about that. And y'all were talking earlier, I didn't get to chime in, but
Nice.
I do have several printed cookbooks. And if there are any recipes I follow online, I absolutely print out my favorites, because if for some reason we don't have internet connection one day, I want to have at least the most basic things that I'll need, you know, to rely on for us to survive, for us to have meals that we want to eat, or whatever survival or most basic cleaning products, you know, anything like that. That we should be able to rely on. I don't trust that we'll always have the internet, you know?
None of you, that's one of the things, you know, we talk about on the show, is that we want to do everything that doesn't involve, you know, yes, we have electricity and heat, but what if we didn't? You know, and a lot of us had to experience that this past week with storms. You know, I think Nashville has areas still without power. I don't know. I think Rogers area down in southern Tennessee, south middle Tennessee, they had a lot of issues with trees down and power lines down. And I'm seeing that there's a lot of problems with whatever their power company is over there, that they're having issues getting the power going back fast enough. So you need to prepare. And, you know, are you going to need seeds if your power's out a week? No, you're not. But cooking wise, you know, you need to know how to do things with cook things. You're not going to go, well, let's see what's for dinner tonight, you know, and you pull out your phone and this isn't a phone, obviously this is paper, but you pull out your phone and you're looking up, you can't do that, you know,
or like, you know,
but if your phone runs out of battery.
A week or two ago, when we knew that the heavy snow was coming or the very winter weather, I made certain things in preparation as much as I could. I washed every single thing, you know, as much as I could before the storm hit, just to prepare as much as I could, because I knew what could be coming, you know. So it's not saving everything until doomsday. It's doing as much as we can beforehand to try to prepare as little. If you've ever been in that situation, you know, if you've ever been without power for a long period of time, you know what you're going to miss. And so anything that you can prepare for that way, that's how I try to treat it.
Yeah, and we don't tell you to prepare for the end of the world, because we don't, all of us together probably don't have the kind of money that some of these people do that prepare for the complete SHTF scenario where, the zombie apocalypse. We pretty much preach prepare for a long power outage, or things like that, because unless you own a warehouse or an underground bunker, preparing for the other stuff is sort of moot. You can't really prepare. So stocking seeds, working with people in your neighborhood that have I think we stayed at a house in just outside of Sparta, Tennessee, B&B, where we rented the downstairs of the house while the family lived upstairs, and they were super nice people. And to find out they were preppers as well, and their whole street were preppers, and they told us how this group of people handled the chickens and this people handled the cattle and the beef, and on down the road, and people grew certain things so that they could all still work together on what foods they had, and they were covered. Every man had guns, so that was some were veterans, young and old, so that was all taken care of, and that's the kind of stuff that we tell you to prep for. We can't tell you to prep for the end of the world, because and I know if the end of the world happens, the end of the world happens, and if we're still here, that we were meant to be here. So
yeah, Gary, you were lucky to grow up, and get, because it's life, really, it's the most basic necessities, and knowing how, growing up that way, you were so many steps ahead of everybody else. Denise, Ancestors recipes are the best. I think that's very cool.
Let me tell you, this lady right here probably has, she has Amish cookbooks. She has 1800s cookbooks, like what the food they cooked in the 1800s, probably the 1700s. I think she has one from the Neanderthal period of cooking meat on rocks.
Yeah, it's on a stone though.
Saber-tooth tigers and stuff like that. But she literally has a ton. And again, for a long time, I was like, why do you have so many cookbooks? But when we started doing this, we realized that, someday if we don't have power, we have the cookbooks. We have the power to cook with cookbooks. So I think that's a very, very vital thing to do is, again, paper products. Keep your paper, cookbooks, everything that you can do that way. Your Farmer's Digest, keep them all.
Yeah, just to have, unless it's
something
you're like, I don't have any need for this at all, I don't have any desire to know anything in this, then donate it or throw it away. But
gentlemen, think about what we did prior to cell phones. When we went to the bathroom, we usually took a newspaper, right? So having the paper products and cookbooks gives us something to read.
Sharon, hey Sharon, I was just talking about you. I was like, I don't think we've seen Sharon in a couple of episodes. My husband recently bought a lot of candles to use if we have a long-term power outage to cook with. Yep. At least it can warm food up. There are several methods. So, I don't, what are those warming cans?
Yeah, we have warming cans like you'd have at a buffet line.
That's an option.
You can use tea light candles.
Yeah, but I just wanted to say there are so many methods, Sharon, on YouTube you can find that help brainstorm. And that's one of the things that I feel like I need to look more into all the time. I'm like, I need to look at that again because I don't have them memorized, but there are other methods to, what's his name? Cohen.
Riverside
Homestead Life. That's a good channel. And he has, for one, using Crisco as a candle. And so there are videos on how to make candles from Crisco, which might help too.
It's very simple too. Crisco and terracotta pots.
Mm-hmm. And so in order to heat, but there are others I would like to look more into on how to warm up food safely. Because there are other heating methods, but they say you can't do that indoors, so things like that I want to learn more about.
Yeah, somebody was talking about they put a 55-gallon drum and were heating their house with a 55-gallon drum in their house, not thinking that the drum gets hot as well.
Yeah, there are so
It's not
many
a
things to
fireplace.
look out for.
Yeah, there's-
I mean, you really have to be careful.
I mean, I realize a lot of people have to do what they got to do to keep warm, but you have to be really careful about the type of heat you're using in your house. That's for sure.
Bud, that's great info. I have a pocket photo
Absolutely.
album of wild edible plants of my area that I take with me while foraging.
That's a great idea.
I wonder if Misty has anything like this. I know Misty is so good with foraging. I just don't know if there's any type of reference material that she might keep with her, or she probably just has it memorized already.
I have an idea. I'm going to share this real quick. I think a lot of the women in this chat and other chats need to get together and have a weekend of the ladies and have a foraging thing and just a general SHTF type thing where they forage, that kind of stuff. I think it'd be really neat.
Yeah. Let's see. And Jean has
Yeah.
a butterfly book and a bug book and a bird book. It's all helpful. And we have seen things like that. I can't remember what all we have right now, but we have seen at like a military surplus store books like that. So that would be a
They're-
reference for
They're books that,
buying those.
probably Bud might have gotten, or some of, depending on what era books are from,
Mhm.
on survival in the wilderness. But yeah, I mean, it's just stuff you need to think about. And I think, when we talked about the seeds, that's probably number one to me, because we have to have seeds. We can walk around with a gun. I always told her, if like we ever ran out of seeds, it looks like we're going to go pillage and steal other people's seeds. Not that I would want to, but when the shit hits the fan, that's what you have to worry about. You have to eat. And unfortunately, those times would call for, drastic measures, but we don't want to get there. So we save seeds. And also, if you are a seed saver, try not to advertise it to a lot of people in your area. Because again, if something goes down, we've talked about, like, for this storm that just passed, we got out our generator, filled it up, made sure it was running. And then I was thinking, if we have to fire this generator up, everybody's going to know that we have electricity. Now, the good thing is most of the people around here have generators as well. But if somebody's generator went down, then they know you have electricity. And that's really a tough one to, maybe a solar generator, get a good one.
Mhm.
But yeah, you don't want to announce to people that you're preppers. I know we do on the show, and there's most of the people. The good thing about our area is 90% of the people here are preppers. So, like I said, you can go outside right now and probably hear gunshots, and it's different from where we lived in Ohio, because people were shooting at each other, and where we lived. But now they're shooting at food or target practicing. So,
Mhm.
but yeah, seeds. And that's the neat thing about the big vault in Norway, is the amount of seeds, and there are seed vaults or seed banks in every country. Now, obviously, the one they talked about was the one in Syria was destroyed, so they came back to grab their seeds to start all over again. And then once Syria's up and going again, if it ever is, then they will give seeds back to the seed vault. But yeah, it's interesting. And I'm sure the United States has one somewhere. I don't know where. Every city probably has one. We talked about library. Somebody mentioned the library. So why not
Mhm.
have one yourself?
Yeah.
It's not going to cost you any money except for the seeds. And we know seeds are cheap. They just have to learn how to store them correctly. I mean,
Right.
I've talked about digging out a big area and putting what's that called? Where you dig a big hole in the ground, cinder block it up, and you keep stuff in there.
Like a storm cellar?
Kind of a storm cellar, but it keeps things at a constant temperature.
Oh,
And then we could store things in there. But yeah.
okay. I think we're caught up on that.
Oh yeah. We never did say thanks. People are in the chat. Root cellar. Thank you, Jane. Yes, a root cellar. Let me get rid of that.
Yep. There goes Bud too.
Yeah. Thank you everybody for being here.
Yes, thank you.
And again, we want this community to share. Like Gene,
Mhm.
thank you. Everybody that was sharing in chat, thank you very much. Again, we're all still learning. You always learn.
Oh yeah.
I like to go to different things, through the time I'll watch stuff to learn stuff that I didn't know. Oh my gosh, I didn't know that. And I like to keep learning. JR, head for the ditch. You can't. That's Wendell. But if anybody has anything else about seeds and seed care, I was going to talk more about the seed vault, but it's all pretty self-explanatory. And that's something I could leave you with, that if you're really interested in the seed vault, the info, that there's so many videos out on it, and they talk about the temperature they store at. They talk about obviously this one touched on a few things. Uh-oh.
JR. Oh, Misty.
Sorry, JR.
That's awesome.
We wonder where you go for long periods of time. Yeah. Then we see you and you're malnourished.
Stop, that's horrible.
Probably has chains on the wall. Never mind. Really, never mind. Thank you, Brian. Brian, thank you for the compliment. We last few shows have been really kind of downers. Again, we're gonna do one eventually where she does her own thing and I'll do my own thing. We'll do them together, but it'll be stuff that I want to talk about, and then we'll do stuff like this where she wants to talk more about this stuff. I don't know as much about seeds as she does, obviously, but positive and negative shows. I can't involve myself. I involve myself in so much negativity during the day with all the podcasts and everything I watch about what's going on in our world, that sometimes I need to step back and just have shows like this.
Mm-hmm.
And I think she does too, because there'll be some nights she's like, I'm done. No more political, no more bad stuff. Let's just focus on good the rest of the night. Let's watch comedy or things like that. Keep going here. Take it over to your side.
Oh.
She only lets me eat what I can forage. And man, those mushrooms.
Another thing is on the seeds, talked about where to find seed packets. Another one is like survival websites or survival magazines. That's another contact for finding seed packets, or also good information on storing them.
Yeah, I started going to Tractor Supply is one of our big stores here in town, and we make a weekly trip probably to Tractor Supply, and she'll buy seed magazines or just whatever magazines, and I'll usually buying a weapon of some sorts or a shirt.
That's another good resource for like the foraging or the outdoor books. Also, my recommendation, if there's anything you feel you need for survival that you need a printed reference for, is laminate it. If you have, if there's something you feel like you couldn't part with, laminate it. And that would be a good way to preserve it. Y'all are so funny. Oh my God.
I
see that that's in all caps, Billy.
The only mushrooms I've eaten, she's bought at the grocery. So what? Shiitake mushrooms? Shiitake mushrooms?
Portobello.
Shiitake mushrooms, and then the mushrooms in the cans.
Ew. I don't mess with that.
When I was a bachelor.
Okay.
You don't buy that for us. But I made a good meal. You throw it in a skillet, throw some butter in there.
Ugh, they're so slick.
I would love to learn more mushrooms and maybe eat more mushrooms.
They are intimidating, I feel like.
Agreed. But and And I've always told her I wouldn't mind eating a special mushroom. I have.
That's him, not me.
Yeah, it's me. Who knows? I'll be like out there, oh, that type of person.
You can do that.
Yeah.
I ain't going down that road.
Yes, I'm with JR on this one. Yeah, send weapons.
Send weapons to the cellar. Help. Oh, gosh.
Wow, Billy. Misty,
Man.
don't poison Billy.
Wow. Oh, God.
Billy is a resource. Don't poison JR either.
Oh, my gosh. Y'all are funny.
I think she doesn't know what the mushrooms do. She just hands them out and watches other people's reaction.
How does this
Oh,
taste?
look, JR's getting sick. Billy's throwing up. Guess we don't eat those on our salad.
She's that nurse that does it for the wrong reasons.
Thank you, Sharon. I'm sorry you're coughing. I do the same thing to her.
What?
I do it on purpose.
Oh.
Make you laugh if you cough.
Oh. Yeah.
So
Oh,
anyway,
gosh.
marigold gummies. What was that? I'm ready
Oh.
for special marigold gummy for my arthritis. That's a show that I would love to do on that kind of stuff. But I honestly think our channel is being kind of watched anyway by things we've talked about.
Yeah.
That's why we don't get the response.
Love you, Misty.
What'd she say? This? Misty, I'll be honest. She probably talks about you every other day.
I do.
She does.
I do. I adore you. I think you're like that up here for me.
I know that she wants to eventually we'll do a show with you and Becca and some kind of whatever show, whether it's just
Obviously not home health care.
Hey, by the way, I fell down the steps this week. And I am surprisingly, I'm okay. I
Mhm.
thought when I hit the bottom, I thought, well, I'm broken. And I laid there for a second and I stood up and I busted my back all up, but it's already healed.
Mhm.
And then somehow my toe, I put a big hole in it. I mean, that's a big hole, isn't it?
That was a big chunk out.
Yeah.
Oh.
I don't know how, but that happened and that's
Mhm.
healing up real quick. So I'm going to not blame it. I'm going to say it's because of the stuff she feeds me,
Yeah.
ladybugs. Because of all the good food we eat. Yep, ladybug. And I think that's one reason I healed. That's why I say eat that healthy stuff. I grew up hating everything green, everything. And I still do, but I'll eat it. You learn that the healthy part of it's more important. Then go ahead. She makes, gentlemen, I suggest this if you ever get a chance. She makes a beet juice, carrot juice, onion juice. It's got all these juices in it. And then she boils all those vegetables, makes the juice. And I drink that about every day. And now I add tomato juice to it. So now it tastes like a Bloody Mary minus the vodka. Add some Tabasco sauce to it. But that and a tablespoon of 784, what's that called? Phenols?
Oh,
of
polyphenol.
Polyphenols of olive oil. And I think it's keeping me all lubed up because I don't have the squeaks anymore. So it helps me stay young, keeps my hair from turning white.
What? I'd like to hear more about that, Carmen.
Oh, yeah, absolutely,
That's
Carmen.
wild.
Please share. Dr. Haynes got you covered. That's more like mad scientist Haynes. And Gene, when I hit the ground, that was the first thing I did was like,
That's
okay,
funny.
when I get up, what's going to hurt the most? I avoided hitting my ribs. I put my arms down by my side, but growing up, this is going to sound silly, but growing up taking martial arts, you're taught how to fall. So if you fall a certain way, you try to correct your body. And I think I still did a pretty good job, since the only thing that's tore up is my toe and my back is fine. And I think it probably cracked my back, to be honest with you, made me feel better. But man down, poor JR. Poor JR.
Oh no.
Could you imagine Chad with some big Rasta hair? I'm dying. Hey, now
No.
one Halloween, Misty, I did wear Rasta hair. I did. I had the red Jamaican colored cap with the dreads hanging down. We lived in Dayton, which is at the time where we were at was predominantly black, and I had gold teeth, and I was kind of probably not dressed the way I should have been dressed in that area, but it
What are you talking about?
Halloween with Rasta dreads.
Oh,
Anyway, it got a good kick from a lot of people. Nobody wanted to kill me. Rice Krispie cereals as a kid, my body snap, crackles, and pops all the time.
Sharon, mine does too, but I was ejected from a vehicle.
80 miles an hour.
So I'm 42 years old and it's like crack, 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 crack.
Well, I'll make this joke that
Ugh.
I was like, you crack worse than I do, and you're 20
It's
years younger than
bad.
me. And she's like,
Mm.
I also thrown out a car at 90 miles an hour. She's got me
bad.
on that one. What part of Dayton did you live in? Bobby, I lived, oh my gosh, Vandalia, Troy, Inglewood, Clayton, Tip City, Union. I think that's about it. I lived all the way on the, the north side of Dayton. I never lived in the city of Dayton. I couldn't break down to go inside city of Dayton. And Wendell, if I could wear dreads, man, I'd wear them. That means I'd have hair.
I would too. I don't have the jawline though.
Your jawline's not wearing the dreads.
No, I just don't.
It's not like it's coming out your face here. Like,
No, I
hey, boy.
gotta take care of that beard. Yeah, it was crazy.
Okay. What time is it? 1:17? Well, we'll go on. We'll stay here for 3 more minutes, and then we'll get off of here. Let everybody get on with their Sundays. I don't know what everybody's got planned tonight. Hopefully you've got some nice dinner, or maybe you've eaten dinner. We always have late dinners.
I'm gonna do my seed time thing.
And you get your 7 o'clock seat thing. Okay. Which means I won't get dinner till 8 or 9 o'clock at night, 10 o'clock maybe.
Probably just warm up what we
I'm just kidding.
have.
I don't care. I'm one of those people that doesn't have to eat.
I know he doesn't.
I don't know why. I mean, I used to weigh 185, but I was mostly muscle, and now I'm 180 and not near as much muscle. So, well, get an afro. Now, I'll tell you a funny story. When I was in high school, and I had a mullet. I had a great shaved on the sides. There, had the stuff in the back, and I decided one year that I was going to get a perm when that got big, and I think that was the late 80s. And I got a perm, and my hair was so thin that all the hair that was back here went up here. And so I had to use, you ready for this? I had to use Jerry curl
You had to use Jerry curl
to get my hair to lay down, because it would weigh it down enough that it would stay down. And then it just got so nasty, I ended up cutting it all off. Yeah. Was there anything new there?
Poor Bobby said they had their wheels stolen several times.
Oh yeah, Dayton.
Back
yeah.
in Dayton.
I don't think the people here.
DYT.
It's funny. You can run into people here from Dayton or used to live in Dayton
Bye, Billy.
in this little town. See you, Billy. And they'll be like, "Oh yeah, I used to live in Dayton." I was like, "How did you find your way here?" And I think that's probably the same way we found our way here. A lot of these people had family here. We don't have family here. We have family over in more southern middle Tennessee,
Middle.
area. Yeah, middle. But a lot of people just want to get away from Dayton, and Dayton was not a good place, and it's not any better from what I understand. My son still lives there and tells me stories. So if I had anything besides short hair growing up, Bud, we've talked about that. I had the hard ass old school father. My hair could not touch my shoulders. So the perm helped, but if my hair got anywhere near my shoulders, it would get all shaved off in the back. And my dad, probably my son, if you guys saw my son, some of you might have seen pictures of him. He's full beard, really long hair. If he put a robe on, he would look like some of the pictures that people have in their house of Jesus. That's how his hair, I mean, that's how he looks. But I've always said that, I wasn't going to be like my father, and you can have whatever hair you want. And, you deal with the outcome of having that hair. And, I said the same thing with tattoos. There are prices you have to pay for having tattoos in the job world. So you be you, but there's consequences for you being you. And that's how life works. So I figured that was a better life lesson than yelling at him to cut his hair all the time.
I have to say, Bud, obviously things change over time, but it amazes me how athletes can dress and wear their hair and be all fuzzy furry or whatever and wear big jewelry. And it just amazes me because all I can remember is growing up. And if you were doing anything athletic, you pretty much couldn't wear jewelry.
Oh, absolutely.
And so now that it blows my mind.
And
how people look now.
I don't know if college football, I know high school football. I coached high school soccer, assistant coach high school soccer for 4 years. And in soccer, you can't wear jewelry on the field. So no earrings, no chains around your neck. You had to take it all off. Now, I don't know how high school football is, but you see, like, even hockey players, which always baffled me, seeing guys in the minors and the pros wearing these big gold chains around their neck. I'm like, as a scrapper, the first thing I'm going to do is go straight for that chain. Where do you grab in a hockey fight? You grab scruff of the neck. So I'm going to go straight for their chains because they've probably paid a lot of money for those. And, that's just the kind of guy I am. Don't wear the chains. Nobody cares if you look like a G out on the football field.
I know. To me, it's so unrelated that it's just a distraction. But they have their reasons.
And Gene, once I shaved my head, it was the greatest thing I could have done to myself because I didn't ever have to do any hair care. I mean, from a guy that was like, I literally shaved the sides and kept the top long. Yeah. You cheering somebody?
No.
Oh, like the coffee mug. Yeah. And I spent a lot of time trying to get my hair to lay right and started dyeing it and all that other stuff. And now you see what I've got. It's just, this is 2 seconds in the shower, wash it and I'm done. Do I wish I had hair? We've talked about doing the hair transplant where I just want a mohawk. That's all I want. So, and she's like, I'll go ahead and do it. And I'm like, no, that's probably $5,000 to do that. So I don't want to do something stupid like that. We aren't supposed to wear all that stuff at my job because of safety. Absolutely. And that's why I switched over, and I highly suggest any men in the group get those neoprene rings. It'll save your fingers. I was in tool and die and we weren't allowed to wear jewelry. You can get your finger caught and rip your finger right off. Construction the same way. And these neoprene rings, a lot of guys don't like to wear rings just I don't know why, to be honest with you. I love to wear my ring. I love to show that I am married. I am happily married. So it doesn't bother me to have a neoprene ring on, and it doesn't bother me to wear my normal ring, but I do so many things outside that, like swinging an axe or, whatever, kind of bothers if you have a ring. Kind of, you get pinches in your skin.
Oh, yeah.
So the neoprene rings are the way to go. And it's like this town. There's a lot of people here. I was talking with a gentleman the other day, and I said, he's talking about his ring. And I was like, man, you got to get a neoprene ring. He's like, what?
Silicone?
Like, a silicone or neoprene, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Silicone ring. And he's like, why? I'm like, because you can wear it all the time. You don't have to worry about hurting your fingers. And he just pops on and off if you want to take it off. And yes, Bobby, tool and die can. I used to come home and I would rubber back, and there would be so many little teeny slivers of steel in my hand that I would grab her shirt all the time.
It was all over his car mat.
Yeah. and
Oh
on the
my
floor in the
gosh.
house. If I didn't, I could take my shoes off at the door, but it would be in your clothes. And if you guys ever meet me, I'll show you my tattoos and see all the scars from the heated aluminum or steel chips landing on my arms and scarring up my arms. So, but anyway, Gene, I buzzed my sons also. Had to have my wedding band cut off. I did too, Gary.
Ooh.
I was in a soccer game and playing goalie, and I took a ball on the end of my fingers, and these two fingers popped up on top. And I never wore my wedding ring to soccer, but that night I did. And they popped up on top, so I had to go in and cut my wedding band off. And that was my second wife. And she's like, I kind of feel that was the end of our marriage right there. And I'm like, huh?
Wow.
Because I dislocated my fingers? You are one whack job, I'm telling you. Anyway, you pick your battles with teenagers. My youngest son wanted a rat tail. I cut his hair like the usual until I got two back. When I cut the rat tail, I told him if his attitude changed, he would go.
That's right.
I remember when the rat tails were big. I never had one. My old man would have killed me.
Oh wow, check this out.
I'm checking. My friend's dad had a tool and die company in West Alex. I bet you my dad knew who that guy was.
I bet.
My dad was very big in the tool and die industry, and everybody knew who my dad was, whether it was in a good way or a bad way. And yes, I was very punk growing up. I still have.
I think she's talking
Yeah,
about.
I know. And I was the same way. It was from punk.
One snip.
Yep. my mom one day, it was the day before my school pictures, my sophomore year. I took a pair of scissors into my bedroom and I just grabbed my hair like this and started cutting all these different chunks, gelled it all up. And I thought my parents were going to disown me after that one. The girls loved it. At least that's what they wrote in the yearbook. But I didn't date anybody in high school. So it was like, okay, do you like my hair? Cool. But yeah. And that's how it was. They ended up cutting my hair so that it looked nice again. And yeah. And my mom always wanted me to be a preppy. So Mom, if you're listening, I still love you. Anyway, guys, that's enough banter from me.
Fantastic.
It's nice talking to you all. I hope we get
Yes.
to see a lot of you in
LBL.
LBL this year, if you can make it. I know we'll be there.
There are rules.
Yeah.
So check with the Woodwalkers group
Yep.
if you are planning on going.
Yep.
Thinking about it. There are rules.
Say
You have
that-
to register.
Yeah. But other than that, guys, we'll see you next Sunday, 5:00. I believe we don't have anything going on.
I don't think so.
No.
That'll be Sunday the 8th. I cannot believe it is the 1st of February. That's crazy.
And guys, if you enjoy the show,
Shooting.
again, I've talked about, we do this for us and you guys. A lot of you guys do a lot of things in chat for us that help us out
Mhm.
tonight, like giving us info on gardening and seeds and
Yeah.
all that stuff helps. And I hope you get that from every show that we do. And it also, we're trying to get you maybe find something that you're interested in and do your research on it.
Mhm.
Because that's what I think we all need to do. I'm not going to tell you what to believe. That's just, we're all different. And that's what I want everybody to know. Thank you, Wendell.
Big love.
Big love to you too, brother. And just remember that we want you to research the topics that you want to research that you might be interested in.
Mhm.
If you're interested in gardening, there's tons of stuff on the internet.
So
Tons of books
much.
you can buy, library,
So many helpful YouTube videos.
and people in the chat. Hey, brother David, good to see you.
What?
Yep.
No
It's
way.
the Blaylax in the house.
Hey.
Angie's birthday is during the LBL. Well, it looks like she's going to the LBL for her birthday.
Heck yeah.
You should rent a cabin or something.
You're funny.
Anyway, but yeah, so if you could share our show, tell somebody about our show. We
Mhm.
try to be different every week. It's still mostly, even this is still conspiracy related, to a point.
Ultimately.
To a point, but it's if SHTF or something ever bad happens, that we can, seeds, the start of life. So, but I know that our subscriptions haven't gone up, my gosh, in a month at least.
Yeah.
So, but I think a lot of it is the YouTube algorithm and them being mean people.
Yeah, it does seem like it's.
So anyway, we're going to come to LBL and we'll probably have a few shirts maybe and some goodies to hand out.
Mhm.
So we look forward to seeing you all there. Other than that, we're done.
Absolutely. And that's 2 months away.
Yeah, it's 2 months
So.
away. But we'll see you guys next Sunday at 5:00 Central.
Yes, sir.
And we won't know the topic probably till Wednesday or Thursday, and we will announce it then.
Mhm.
Thank you for being here. We
Thank
greatly
you.
appreciate it. Everybody have a great rest of the evening. Oh, it is Wanda House's birthday today. If you haven't
Aw.
wished Wanda a happy birthday, please do. And I don't want another Southern goodbye. So we will. Thank you, Murray. We will see you guys next Sunday. Big love to all of you.
Yes.
And
Big love, guys.
we're out.
See you later.